Welcome to Flashpoints. I'm Jeff Pegues, along with Juan Zarate, CBS News senior national security analyst. Let's talk about Al-Shabaab. This is a group that's a terrorist organization focused mostly on East Africa.
That's right, Jeff. Al-Shabaab is the al-Qaeda affiliate in Somalia. They've controlled territory in Somalia for some time, have been engaged in battles with the Somali authorities as well as African forces for control of parts of Somalia. But they've demonstrated reach. They've attacked in places like Uganda and Kenya several times, and certainly are responsible for one of the most graphic attacks in recent memory, the Westgate Mall attack. And concern from counterterrorism officials is that this is a group that draws Western recruits, to include from the United States, and has potentially the ability to send and deploy, if not inspire others to attack in places like Minneapolis and in the West.
Yeah, and you talked about the Westgate Mall attack. That was in 2013, more than 60 people killed. Now, over the weekend, this group issues a threat to Western malls, encouraging Western Muslims to attack some of these malls. Specifically mentioned was the Mall of America. How serious is this threat coming from that group?
Well, I think you've heard from American counterterrorism and Homeland Security officials that this is not an imminent threat. They're not concerned that Al-Shabaab has launched something today or will tomorrow. That said, this is concerning for a couple of reasons, Jeff. One, Al-Shabaab does have foreign reach. They have had foreigners, Westerners, including Somali Americans from the Minneapolis area, come and fight with them. And so there is the potential that they have individuals that are sympathetic to them, perhaps even trained by them in Western capitals, able to attack. Secondly, it's Al-Shabaab trying to enter the broader global jihadi narrative and mix, trying to inspire individuals to attack in place. Even if they haven't trained them, even if they don't have links, they're trying to say, hey, look at our example. We were successful in Westgate. You can do this same kind of thing. And they've picked an iconic American mall, the Mall of America, to make this case.
Yeah, in so many ways, this is a propaganda battle, and that was something that Jay Johnson of the Department of Homeland Security was talking to Bob Schieffer about on Face the Nation. Let's listen.
We now have a situation where groups like ISIL, Al-Shabaab, AQAP are publicly calling for individual actors to carry out attacks in their homelands. And in my judgment, that represents a totally new environment.
So this is a propaganda battle in a lot of ways. You see ISIS releasing these videos. How does this change the calculus for U.S. authorities?
Well, certainly these are high-quality videos. In some ways, there's a bit of a competition among these terrorist groups, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda affiliates, and the Islamic State. And they're in a quest for hearts and minds. They're also in a strategic mode, as the Secretary said, of trying to inspire others to attack, not where these jihadi battles are happening in places like Somalia or Iraq and Syria, but in Western capitals. And I think that's part of this new environment that the Secretary is talking about. You have groups that not only want spectacular 9/11 style attacks, but they actually are doubling down on this idea of inspiring Westerners or people in the West to attack in these capitals, like we saw in Paris.
And so we have about 30 seconds left. Does Al-Shabaab have that capability? Some of the law enforcement officials I've talked to say they really don't.
They don't. I think U.S. officials have been most worried about Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, the group in Yemen that really does have more global reach, more capabilities. But the challenge here, Jeff, is that this is an outpost for Al-Qaeda. These are individuals who very much want to hit not just the Somali forces and the regional forces battling them, but they want to attack the West. And to the extent that they can find one or two recruits to do something, even if it's to attack in a mall in America, that could be significant.
And as I mentioned, the Mall of America was mentioned by this group. Officials there have stepped up security, putting in place some things that shoppers can see and things that they cannot see. For Juan Zarate, I'm Jeff Pegues, and that's Flashpoints.